What is up, guys? Welcome back to the final video of the Call of Duty in 2025 series for right now, because obviously we have BO6, which we might do later in the year, um, but for now this is the last one. We're going to be talking about Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 in this video, so it's going to be very interesting. This is the first time in the series that we're doing a combo video. But this year, obviously last year we didn't have Modern Warfare 3 was not out, or it was out when I did the series, but it was the same situation with like BO6 where I was waiting a little bit longer to do it. And we're gonna run the ACR this game. So Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. And the reason I'm doing these together is because they're basically the same game. The movement mechanics are a little different on Modern Warfare 3 compared to Modern Warfare 2, obviously. But they are the same game, basically. Maybe they have the same... Oh my god. My god, but I didn't expect them to all be there. But there was all the same guns, etc. So they are, at the end of the day, basically the same guns. Such a good game, man. So Modern Warfare 3 was a pretty interesting game. I mean, it was the first Call of Duty to ever have... It was the first Call of Duty ever to have... Why are you trying to shoot me with a shotgun? Get out of here. As I missed every shot. Bop. This is the first Call of Duty to ever have crossplay for guns and weaponry. And what I mean by that is this is the first Call of Duty that we're going to see a separate title's weapons be brought over to the modern release, which was Modern Warfare 2 guns being brought over to Modern Warfare 2 guns being brought over here to Modern Warfare 3. And we're going to probably pull out a Modern Warfare 2 gun. How am I missing? That's a throwing knife. Oh my god, I just cannot hit throwing knives today, boys. This is depressing. Let's pull a Modern Warfare 2 gun out for reference. I'm not sure I have one on here somewhere. Let's do the M4. Or actually, let's do M16. Let's do M16, because why not? So yeah, so this is the title that was debated along. Oh my god, I forgot how bad the recoil was after that nerf. But people have talked about this game kind of in a weird state, because a lot of people felt like this game is what Modern Warfare 2 should have been. But there was a lot of people out there, including myself, who felt like this game was as good as it needed to be, and Modern Warfare 2 was also just as good as it needed to be for what it was. You know, it was an interesting time period, man. I mean, this is also one of the first Call of Duties in history to come out, basically continuing the game directly after the previous release. And normally in Call of Duty, when a company releases, when a company like Treyarch or whatever releases a game, it's usually specifically gonna have to wait like. You're gonna have to wait a certain amount of time before you can get another Treyarch game. But in this game, it was made by a separate company, but it was the same brand of game. So it's still a Modern Warfare game, even though it was made by Sledgehammer. The last one was made by Infinity Ward. This was a Modern Warfare game, and this is the first time in COD history that we had a franchise release two of their titles back to back, and I think they did a decent job for the time they had. Obviously, they didn't have all the time in the world, and I think they did good with what they had. I mean, do I think there's some issues with this game? Absolutely, and I've been very vocal about those issues throughout the year. About 2 years now. But it's very good in what it was trying to accomplish. Modern Warfare 3, for example, had a crazy life cycle. Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2 is a hit or miss. Modern Warfare 3 is mostly well accepted, but Modern Warfare 2 was quite hated by the community, I would say. I think most people hate the game. I personally love Modern Warfare 2. I think Modern Warfare 2 is amazing. And what it's trying to accomplish is just more of a slower paced firefight type of like CQB style experience. And I think it does that, you know, what it's trying to do really well. And I think that's why a lot of people hated it, just simply because it wasn't exactly what they were looking for. But I mean, the thing with Call of Duty is like you're never gonna please everybody, and so it's like it's a weird thing where like you want them to listen to the community, but at the same time, it's like a lot of the community is not very intelligent when it comes to releases and what we want. Um, so like it's just one of those things where they have to learn how to balance it. And I think uh, they did a good job with Modern Warfare 2 and 3. They were both fantastic releases. They both had a lot of content. They both, did things in their own way that was good, but they also built off each other. Um, and I think that's fantastic, in the grand scheme of things. I think that's what's important is that they built up each other instead of tearing down each other, and I think that's a good thing in the long run. Oh my god, snipe, LS, hit your shots. I obviously played a lot of MW2 throughout the life cycle of it, but I also played a lot of Modern Warfare 3. I actually played longer in terms of physical hours, I believe, in Modern Warfare 3 than 2, but I do have more in-game days in Modern Warfare 2 than 3, which I think is pretty interesting. Um, which is it's just odd, because I think I have about 3,000 hours in the COD HQ app, and about a quarter, if not half of that, is just Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 2 has about 1,000, and then I think I have about almost 1,000. I think it is in Modern Warfare. I'm sorry, in BO6. So Modern Warfare 3 does have a huge chunk of my time played. Um, but we're also going to talk about, now that the game's over, I do want to talk about some of the cool things about Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2 and the things that I really enjoyed. So Modern Warfare 2 obviously had raids. I think raids were a fantastic addition to Call of Duty and would love to see them come back again in the future. And then we had just a ton of just guns and camos and stuff to do throughout the life cycle. I mean, this game has 100. I believe the last time I counted it was 137 guns, which is just absolutely mental. And then we also had just an amazing year for content. I mean, we had Interstellar, we had Borealis. As you guys know, I have all the camos, all the guns. We also had the Modern Warfare 2 camo, which was Orion. And then when Modern Warfare 3 dropped, we got the bioluminescent camo for Modern Warfare 2 guns, so that was for zombies, which was super cool to be able to grind Modern Warfare 2 guns again. And then we obviously, in the latest seasons, we got Prestige camos starting in season, I believe, 4. I think we had 4, we had 1 trick. No, it was 3. It was 3 we had 1 trick, 4 we had Obsidian, 5 we had Mercury, and then season 6 we had um, Constellation's End. And you can see here, these camos are fantastic looking. They all look very, very good. And then we had a shit ton of camos throughout the events. I pretty much have every single event. I don't think I missed any events. I am missing a ton of like special offer camos and whatever, my rank place camos and all that. But in terms of physical events, I don't think I missed any throughout Modern Warfare 2 or 3. As you guys can see here, that I have a lot of camos here. I have Walking Dead camos and all the camos from doing all the parkour things. So yeah, it was a great time for camo hunters. You had so many camos, and this is something BO6 does not have, and I think that's really hurting that game in the long term. It's just not having enough content, and I think Modern Warfare 3 is a perfect example of how you can do content and do seasons well. I think every game should really look at. Obviously, there were some issues with Modern Warfare 3. We're not going to shy away from them. Obviously, the SPMM and EOMM is bad. The anti-cheat is horrible, and obviously not having prestiges or classic levels back, and the whole level requirement for camos. Those stuff kind of sucked, but it is what it is at the end of the day, and not every game is perfect. So I think that's a good lesson to take out. But yeah, man, that's just some of the stuff that I found that I want to talk about with the Modern Warfare 3 and 2. These games had fantastic maps, they had fantastic modes, and tons of new weapons. We had tons of cool guns that we got throughout the life cycle, like the BP-50. We got like the Ram 7. We got the STG, which I thought was a really unique way of bringing back an old school gun in a futuristic game or modern game. We have things like the DTAR. The DTAR is a stupidly strong gun right now, by the way. We got things like the Static HV, the Horus, the Super E, the Ram 9. We got the Spaz 12 back. We got like we got the Kastov LSW, which is pretty cool. This is like a stoner, like a modernized stoner LMG. We also got the MK9. I believe this was a DLC gun. If I remember correctly. This might have been default. It's either default or DLC. Anyway, either way, this is AC the M249 Saw, which is pretty cool. And there's tons of guns like the Karnan D8, etc., that have came out in this game. Morris, the Bal 27. So just tons and tons of cool guns. We have the sword. We got like I don't know if did we get any other. We did get another melee if I remember correctly. Yeah, we got the sledgehammer and the spear, which were just three super sick melees. Especially the spear. The spear was so much fun to play with when it first came out, as well as still now. But it obviously was even more fun back then because everyone was spearing. Um, but yeah, super cool stuff that we got throughout this life cycle, and it was just a fantastic experience overall. I think Sledgehammer knocks out the park every time. I really do truly feel that way. Even Vanguard playing that game the other day when I was for the YouTube video, I just was just having so much fun playing. Even though it was custom games, I was having so much fun. And I think it comes back to this the passion that Sledgehammer Games has is just through the roof in terms of their competition, being Sledgehammer's competition being Treyarch and Infinity Ward. I feel like those two companies have kind of not really had the passion in a long time, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. You know, we power through it. But yeah, that's Modern Warfare 3 in 2025. It is still a very strong game. I play this game pretty much daily, almost. The last week or so, not really that as much, but therefore, I still play daily otherwise with my buddies. Search and Destroy is healthy, Shipment's healthy, Gunfight's healthy, everything's healthy. So if you're looking for a game to grind that's still relatively new, Modern Warfare 3 might be that game for you because this is only a year old, so it is still a very new game. There's no new content, obviously, but you have access to everything that released, so it's a good time. It's fun. They kept like the get higher modes and all that, so you guys can do parkour. This game does have war from World War II. It has things like cut through. You have ground war, invasion. So there's really just a lot of options for you in the long terms. And we have the zombies here. We'll showcase the zombies real quick for you guys. Modern Warfare 3 Zombies was interesting. A lot of people disliked it. I actually did not hate it. I think it had its own flair, and I think its flair just needed to get used to the flair. But I think in the long term, it's a decent mode. You can see here we have the whole backpack thing. You gotta see I have a bunch of shit in my backpack. Obviously you have all the schematics and stuff. I thought the schematics were a cool idea. I wish they were done a little differently, but they were cool, and I think it's perfectly fine to want to experiment with new things. I think that's perfectly fine. I think Call of Duty has always been the gold standard of a game that's willing to try new things. I mean, look at the exosuits and look at supply drops and battle passes and seasonal levels, DLC guns, DLC map packs, season passes. They've always been the ones to be willing to try new things, and I think that's good. I think it's healthy to do that. So these might not be done the best way. I think they could have done way better with these schematics. I think it's a cool strategy, and it's a cool, unique, different way of doing things like DLC guns, or not DLC guns, sorry, like wonder weapons and ammo mods and stuff as well. You can see here there's tons of different missions you should do. For the most part, I didn't finish them, unfortunately. So, but you can see that there's tons of missions that you can do and storylines you could do. So there's just a lot to do, and obviously we have the calling cards as well from the you go to calling cards if it loads. You guys can see here, there's tons of calling cards for zombies as well as multiplayer. You have the prestige ones for all 6 seasons, and then obviously the premium calling cards as well. So just tons of content, and again, this is why I think this is probably one of the best options right now in order to play a game that's still new, that's not the newest game that you want to grind. I think this is your best option. But yeah, that's the video, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys are excited for the future. I have other games now that I can focus on now that this series is over. I have God of War in the books that I want to do. I've got Arma yet, and DayZ, and BO6. So, and Modern Warfare 3 videos in general will be also coming back, as well as I start slowly coming back to this game again. So yeah, tons of content coming. If there's a COD that you think I missed, let me down below. I don't think I'm missing any CODs, but my brain is slow sometimes, so I may have missed a COD somewhere. I don't think I did. Modern Warfare 2 and 3 should have been the last two I needed to do. And yeah, let me know down below. Did you play Modern Warfare 3 during its life cycle? Did you enjoy it? And what are your thoughts and opinions on the entire series as a whole? Did you guys enjoy it? It's not as high quality as some of the other YouTubers that do the series, but I speak from the heart when I do these, and my feelings come through a little more on these, and I be as happy about these games as I can, even if there's some of the ones I talk about here I extremely dislike. I try to keep a positive attitude towards it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. You're one of a kind, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.